You're tuned in into ink and identity.
I think I was always so fearful to try, and I think now it's like everything I want is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
Any opportunity is on that other side. And I think like whenever an opportunity presents itself, I used to think like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, am I good enough for this? I'm too shy. I'm too timid. I'm going to mess up.
Yeah.
But now I think I've been trying to push myself out of my shell and out of my comfort zone. And it's been helping me a lot. You know, what's written in your life is written and it'll be there. If it's something is for you, that's for you. If
Yeah.
it's not, then it's no longer relevant in your life.
What's some advice you'll give another younger artist that feels like this is definitely what I want to do? I have the desire, I have the passion. I just need to make sure that it will work.
I think I would definitely recommend.
Today's guest is Chelsea Rosales, an artist shaped by family traditions and the stories that raised her. From acrylic and oils to digital work, she captures memories, healing, and beauties of stillness. Her art reflects her upbringing, her roots, and her personal journey. And a fun fact, she also runs a marathon. You're a marathon runner? She's also a marathon runner. Welcome to Ink and Identity. How many things you running? Do you 5K, 25K?
I do 5Ks, 10Ks. I do full marathons.
Oof.
I'm currently training for my 6th marathon.
And where is that? In San Francisco somewhere?
It's in the LA Marathon.
Oh, LA Marathon. How many miles is that?
That's 26.2 miles.
26.22. What? What? And you're running the whole entire time?
Yeah, I'm running the whole entire time.
What's the pace?
I think the pace that works for me best is between a 9 and a 10-minute pace. Yeah.
A 9 and a 10. I can barely run 1 mile in 9 minutes. I will be forever running 26 miles.
I mean, it definitely takes 5 months of training. It
Yeah.
takes running 3 times a week and doing long runs on weekends. It's a full-time commitment for sure.
What? I have to get there. I'm going to stick to the 5K for now.
Yeah, I would recommend a 5K. 5Ks are always fun too.
Yeah, 5K is definitely where my spirit lies. I don't think 26 is in my actual like future.
Maybe one day, you never know. I honestly encourage like everyone to run a marathon. I think it's such a beautiful experience. And I think personally, it taught me a lot about myself
Yeah.
and a lot of mental strength, I think, and discipline. And I think it really taught me how to like navigate life also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you want to give up.
There's many moments where I want to just give up. I hit a wall or I'm like contemplating life. I'm like, why am I running this again? Why am I
Yeah.
doing this again? But then I think once you reach that point where you're running it, it's really the environment that you're in, the people cheering you on. I think just the feeling that you get from it and after crossing that finish line is really beautiful.
So do you put yourself under pressure of like I have to do it in this amount of time, or is just the completion?
I think before, when I was a lot younger, I thought about like I have to do it at a certain time. I have to finish like in 4 hours. But now, honestly, I think I want to be more present when I run. I just want to enjoy my surroundings, who I'm running with.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a time specific now.
Yeah.
I just run and I'm running just to enjoy it for the experience.
So what's the max time before they say we're closed?
I think the max time is 7 hours.
Okay, I can do that.
7 hours. Yeah.
I was like 24 hours. I'm still out there. Stop, got a coffee. Stop to the break.
There's plenty of snacks and things on the way too to
Really?
get you going. Folks
Okay,
will
I'm
give
actually
you.
convinced this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that out.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend.
Well, so Chelsea, tell us what is your actual medium?
Yeah, so the medium that I love to work with the most, I think at the moment, is oil. In the past, I think I would have worked more with acrylic.
Yeah.
But I think after exploring more with different mediums, watercolor, acrylic, oil, I think I really found a love for oil and the way that it blends.
Yeah.
The way that it doesn't dry so quickly that you can just return to it and work on it. If there's any details that are missing, you can get back to them.
Gotcha.
I also just really love the way that it like really brings out like details. I think if I'm working with acrylic, I have to blend right away, like really
Gotcha.
fast. Versus if I'm like working with oil, like I have time to really work with it. And I think I've also found a love of working on wood versus canvas. I just love that the texture that it has when I paint with oil.
Gotcha. Does it
Yeah.
absorb differently?
I
Better?
think it does absorb differently. It definitely does dry a little faster, but there are different like oils that you can also work with. There's like linseed oil and other mediums that you can put into it that also help. Like, oh, if you don't want it to dry fast, you want a more thick consistency or
Yeah.
a thinner consistency. Yeah.
So what's a double no for oils? Like what you cannot use with an oil?
Definitely, I don't think you can use water. I think I'm still learning oil as I go.
Hmm.
No one has really taught me how to use oil or like the mediums that I work with. I think like when me and my sister, we kind of just like go on an adventure and we kind of like say like, okay, we're gonna try this new medium. Let's test it out. Let's see how it works, and let's try to paint something and see how like it works out. I see that with oils, what I do see the most happening is like the paintbrushes drying. I think I'm learning how to like really navigate that or not having my paintbrushes get ruined. If
Gotcha.
you leave your paintbrushes out in the open, they're gonna dry and they're gonna stiffen up. And what I like to do, a tactic is like put a little bit of Vaseline and put it
Hmm.
into like a saran wrap or like a Ziploc bag so that the moisture like contains itself in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's the earliest version of you that lives in your art today?
The earliest version of me, I started painting when I was little. I think it started when my mom gave me an art set. So it was
Hmm.
like this little I don't know, it was like a wooden box. I could carry it with me anywhere. It had chalk, pencils, it had oil pastels, watercolors. And I think I just loved messing with it. And
Yeah.
like I liked also renting out books from like my classrooms and trying to copy like the images to try to practice and get images down. I think ever since then, I really loved just creating and painting.
Hmm.
But I think also seeing my older sister create, I think inspired me.
Gotcha.
I think I really loved like the imagery that she would create or put on the wall in the room when we were like younger. And I think it really inspired me to want to like create myself and see what came out of me when I
Hmm.
created. And I think I noticed as I got older, I stopped doing more of like imagery, flowers, and like nature, but more of like what is like something that I connect to that I want folks to connect to.
Yeah.
So now my art is more of like nostalgia. It focuses on telling stories, my story, looking to heal, looking to transform and grow. So that's like the path that my art has taken now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually beautiful that you can convey that in artwork.
Yeah.
So what part of like your childhood do you feel like your parents were receptive to it, or did they nurture it, or was it just something completely shown upon?
Yeah, I feel like my parents definitely nurtured it. I think my mom really was supportive of any endeavors that I wanted to take on.
Mhm.
My dad was too, and I think whenever I would show them a piece, they would be excited to see what I created. And I think up until this day now, they really, I think it's really heartwarming to see how my art has transformed to now, just seeing all the detail that I can bring in now to my art.
Yeah.
Like them seeing this art and still like having this feeling of excitement. Yeah. I think they've always been really supportive of anything that I take on in art, especially.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And given the fact that you said your sister is an artist too, do you think that was the same for her, or was it a different type of struggle?
I think so. I think my parents did also like support her art and wanted her to create, whether it was making a business out of it
Mhm.
or whatever it was needed. I think my parents and my dad like also like was like, what do we need to make this happen? So I think they've always been encouraging of our journeys. Yeah. But I think it's also pushed me to create in different ways, which I enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it also seems like your job is very creative.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's helping people kind of ignite that voice that they seem pretty dormant or it doesn't exist. So how do you feel like creatively, artistically, and personally, like even in that space, it helps you grow?
Yeah, I think I really enjoy the fact that I have the freedom to create anything. My team will obviously give me feedback and it's really helpful and I think it has helped me grow, especially because I was not familiar with anything in the communications realm or graphic design. I only had a very minimal background in that, but now that I'm able to create or even just bring cultural experiences where community, parents, children, like local schools can come and partake in this, I think to me it's such a beautiful experience. It has helped me grow, but also try to figure out what are different ways in which we can engage our community to
Yeah,
continue to come and have a good time.
to where it's actually interesting and you can get
Yeah.
the participation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's art in itself. I mean, you can always be a leader, but if no one's following, what is it, you know? Yeah. So what part of you as a child, like what part of your art have you outgrown? from when you started to now?
I don't sketch as much.
Mhm.
I think if I sketch, it's only like to have an outline for what my next art piece is, and I think that's been helping. But I think aside from creating watercolor, I would sketch, I would do a lot of shading. And I think that's something that I no longer really do as much.
Yeah.
But I do miss doing because I think in itself would help me just practice more, even if it
Mhm.
wasn't creating on a canvas or creating prints and art. Yeah.
Did you have an old belief that you no longer believe anymore about yourself in this artistic world?
I think the belief that I've let go is that I'm not gonna get anywhere with my art. I think for
Mm,
the long time I was like, this is just gonna be a hobby. But I'm like, yeah, it's a hobby, but I love this hobby.
yeah.
I think this hobby is something that nurtures me, that makes me happy, that is my safe place, that is a place where I can connect with others.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I've let go of that notion of like, you know what, I'm not gonna get anywhere with this, or this is just gonna be a hobby that I do on my downtime. But I think like this is something that I want to share with others.
Yeah. So what's the new thought you replaced that belief with?
I think I was always so fearful to try, and I think now it's like everything I want is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
Any opportunity is on that other side. And I think like whenever an opportunity presents itself, I used to think like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, am I good
Mhm.
enough for this?
Mhm.
I'm too shy. I'm too timid. I'm gonna mess up.
Yeah.
But now I think I've been trying to push myself out of my shell and out of my comfort zone, and it's been helping me a lot.
Yeah. You would think if you're shy and timid, art would be the perfect way to express yourself. It's like no one needs to hear me. I
Yeah.
can just put it all on the canvas or whatever you're painting on, right?
Yeah, I think for any artist, it looks differently. For some, it's just something that they want to do, like on their downtime. It's something that they express themselves with, but like it's just for them. And
Yeah.
that's completely okay. I think for a while, it was like that for me too. But I think now it's like, I want to share it with folks, I want to build
Yeah.
community. I want to tell stories. Yeah.
So when you actually create a piece and you give it to the public eye, do you release it or do you still hold on to a certain emotion?
Like releasing, like, as in selling like my original
If
pieces
it's
or.
just a display selling it, but now everyone can see it, including you. But once you release it to the public eye and everyone can see it, what do you actually do with the painting? Do you keep the emotions with it and you're afraid of feedback, or do you actually release it and then let people take what they can get from it?
I think that one I let people take what they can get from it, however they want to interpret it. I think like the emotions that I hold with that piece will always be there. I think I love being able to showcase my art and see what folks get from it. If they have any questions, I'm more than happy to share what it's about, how I connect to it, how I want folks to connect to it. But I think like if folks can connect to it in a different way or it
Yeah.
stands out to them or reminds them of something else, like that in itself is beautiful and I like to see that connection.
Yeah. So what's one emotion that you typically see throughout your art
I think I get a sense of peace. I think a
piece?
sense of release. I think a sense of like also like I did this again, I was able to do this. I think sometimes when I create, I'm like, am I going to be able to execute this the way that I want? And even if it doesn't turn out the way that I want, or the imagery doesn't come out specifically how I want it, I'm learning to let go of perfectionism. That's
Yeah.
something that is such a big thing for me. It's like any little detail, like this has to look this way. But I think I'm learning that art isn't perfect and even mistakes are okay. I'm more free with it. And I think I sense of like just releasing, spending time with the piece
Yeah.
and seeing the outcome.
Yeah, to me, it seems like art is very forgivable. Like, because even if you mess up, who would know, right? It's like a matter of perspective or perception at that point. It's like
Yeah.
whatever they're perceiving from this, if it's right or wrong, or if it's perfect or not, it's exactly what they need at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
What's an emotion that you're absolutely afraid to put inside your work?
An emotion that I'm afraid to put, or I think I'm trying to be more vulnerable with my work, but I think even my vulnerable work I haven't really put out there as
Mm-hmm.
much. And I think I am someone who has like anxiety or I struggle with anxiety here and
Yeah.
there. And I think I haven't really given myself the opportunity to showcase what that looks like, but I have been wondering like how would that look like on a canvas if I were to express that emotion, what anxiety feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you should do like a series of anxiety. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I think maybe down the line I will reach in a little more to
Yeah.
create that piece because I know that I'm not the only one who struggles with anxiety and I know others also struggle with anxiety. Maybe it's something that they can connect to also.
So what do you think is the deepest root of why the anxiety exists? Although you believe yourself, although you're confident, although you're sure you're capable, like what is the root cause of it?
I think for me, overthinking or thinking about the future is what causes anxiety. What can go wrong? What if this? What if that? But I think something my grandpa has taught me is like, if there's a solution, why are you stressing?
Wow.
If there's no solution, why are you stressing?
Right. It's
um,
like either way, why are you stressing?
yeah. So yeah, a lot of those things, even my dad has passed down to me. And so I think I'm trying to kind of like ground myself more and understand what are my needs?
Yeah,
How can I calm this anxiety? Before anything happens, I'm like, what if that doesn't happen? What if things turn out okay?
exactly.
I think just trying to reassure myself has been helpful.
It's like replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones, right?
Yeah,
Because we really
exactly.
don't know the outcome. I mean,
Yeah.
we're predicting all of these things in our head, but it's never close to the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
So tell me about your childhood. Like, where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles. I'm from northern East LA, from El Sereno.
Okay, gotcha. So tell me about your childhood. Like, do you feel like a lot of your art still expresses that inner child, or is it more of like the adult world?
Yeah, I think more and more now, it definitely is bringing out that inner child. Like recently, the painting that I did of the green truck, which was a 1994 GMC,
Mm-hmm.
that was a truck that my dad had when he first started working, or one of the first trucks he had that brought him a lot of work. And I remember just like always riding in that truck. He would drop us off at school with me and my sisters. We would go to places in that truck. But also, even like in evenings after coming back from school or in the summer, we would sit in the backyard, sit in the back of the truck or the stairs, and we would talk about like our dreams, our like grandma, grandpa, like stories about like our family, what we wanted in life, struggles, just all like the vulnerable, heartfelt feelings. I think there was a lot of wholesome moments that I think still stick with me from my childhood, that I think certain imagery, I wanted to just paint it and like tell the story.
Yeah.
Even though someone just sees a green truck, they're like, what does this green truck mean? But I'm like, it means so much to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anyone that say, I know what that means?
Um, I
Not yet.
think after like I tell them what it's about, yeah, they're like, I
Yeah.
connect to that. Like I can,
But not instantly.
not instantly,
No.
yeah. Unless like there is this other piece from that same theme that I did, where it's just like a rearview mirror and there's a rosemary hanging.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are like, "Hey, my family does that too."
Yeah.
My parents, every time they drive their cars, they have a rosary in their car. I think it just symbolizes protection and faith. Yeah,
That's amazing when you can just create something that people automatically know, or they can actually understand what you're trying to interpret or at least convey to the world. Yeah.
yeah.
In the beginning, you mentioned peace. What do you feel like your message is now? Although you kind of went through childhood now, what do you think your ultimate goal is with your artwork?
I intend to bring out a sense of like resiliency.
Yeah.
I think even with my childhood, just like telling like the stories through the art and where I am now or how they shaped me, I think are a form of resiliency and growth.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I want my art to connect to. Yeah.
The fact that you won 26 miles, I think you're very resilient.
Yeah.
I don't know any other person who runs 26 miles. But what do you find easiest to express? I know you say you're trying to be a little more vulnerable, but joy, anger, sadness, happiness, like what is your easiest emotion? And then what's the emotion you struggle with the most?
I think the emotion that's the easiest for me to bring out is definitely joy and things that bring me joy. I think what I struggle with most is like sadness, or if there's like anything like that's causing like depression. I think it's more of like those deeper feelings that I like struggle to bring out. I think I bring out more joy because like what I paint, I'm like, that brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like my safe place. But I think I want to try to practice more of like that. What does sadness feel like, or how can I bring out the sadness? I think what's easier for me is to bring out joy in my pieces. When it comes to sadness or depression or anxiety, I think those are the feelings that I struggle with the most. But I'm trying my best to push myself out of my comfort zone to bring that imagery out,
Yeah.
to show what that looks like. But I think there will be moments in the future where I try to create themes or just pieces that bring that out. I think I need to try to really sit down with those feelings and visit them and see like, what is the story that I want to tell with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is part of that just you're trying to control what people know about you or see about you? Or is it just a part that you kind of struggle with in general? Or are you just naturally a happy person and you're like, I don't want to deal with any of those other emotions?
I think like through my art, there's no specific way. Like if folks can find different emotions through it, that's completely okay. There's no one specific answer for my art. I'm also not just like flat out just the happiest person, like life be lifing.
Yeah.
So I think, I just try to just bring moments of joy and connection and healing through my art, but that can look differently down the line. That's something that I need to reach in more with. Yeah.
Is there any particular point in your journey that you felt like you were trying to hide, but then it cracked open and it got a little deeper than, than you imagined or anticipated?
I think, like, heartfelt moments that I was trying to hide or, like, a moment of vulnerability, but I ended up still showing that piece.
Yeah.
And actually a lot of people or a lot of my friends, like, they're like, "You should, like, make prints of this piece. I really like this piece." I think it was just trying to show, like, I was going through a lot during the time where I was, like, in college, and I was trying to really figure out myself. I think the moment when you're in your 20s, you're just going through different, like, moments and different phases in your life, and I'm still in my 20s, still trying to navigate, but I think, like, that piece was really, like, showing this moment of, like, fragility. I feel really fragile. I felt very heartbroken or just, like, in a dark place, but there's this other piece next to it that shows, like, you know what? You can grow out of this. Like, you
Yeah.
can like that, I guess that's saying like the rose that grew from concrete, right? Like you can still come out of this, and there'll be better times, and this is not like the end of it. I think there's just moments where like you come across and you're like, this feels like this is never ending, or like, am I ever gonna get out of this these feelings, these emotions? But
Yeah.
I think there's definitely different parts of your life that will show you growth and how to learn to navigate them. And I
Yeah.
think if I didn't have those moments in my life, I wouldn't have been able to discover my own identity or what were my needs or what like do I want in my life.
Right.
Yeah, I think that piece really brought out that part of me.
Well, I love the journey. Journeys are always nice. I mean, I'm not saying they're pleasant, but
They're definitely not pleasant. There are moments where like, you're just like, I want this to be over. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I know you said resilience is one of your things. So how do you feel like you kind of navigate through trials and tribulations or even challenges? Like, is this something you tell yourself? Is it something you do?
I try to reflect on what is the solution? What can I do? Why do I feel this way? I think sometimes, like, if there are people or certain things in my life that are causing this, I'm like, this is probably no longer serving me.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm outgrowing these people. Maybe it's time for me to let certain emotions go that are holding me back. I think it's just a lot of reflection, self reflection, trying to figure out what works for me now, what I need to do, what steps I need to take. But it's definitely not an easy process.
yeah,
I think it takes a lot out of me emotionally and physically to really like get myself out of a funk,
yeah,
but I definitely tell myself, like, it's not impossible. Like, you can do this. I think it's a lot of reassurance,
yeah,
self reassurance. I think it's been like a moment of like reading books too, or I think a book that really helped me get through a dark place was The Alchemist.
hmm,
I think like The Alchemist was a book that taught me about resiliency, but also like what's written in your life is written and it'll be there. If it's something is for you, that's for you. If
yeah,
it's not, then it's no longer relevant in your life.
right.
Yeah.
That's actually amazing. I actually heard grandpa in that statement. Like, what's the solution?
Yeah, I think definitely like the sayings that my dad or my grandpa would say. I think my grandpa's a very like chill guy, but I think like there's this other saying, just because you're getting there early doesn't mean that you're going to be there early.
Yeah,
So it's like, you might try so hard to rush a process in your life or try to get there really quickly, but it won't pan out how you want it. You
yeah,
have to take your time.
yeah.
What is meant for you will come for you. It'll be there.
Is that something that you picked up in your latest art? Like, just be okay with taking the time, letting it kind of pan out the way it's supposed to instead of rushing it.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you rush something, it definitely won't turn out how you want it. And I think I love to put my art, like my whole heart and my like just emotions and my time. I like to nurture my art and just make sure that it really brings out me. Like
Yeah,
this is what I'm like trying to connect to and I'm trying to release. Yeah.
yeah. I've actually adopted the same kind of perspective. Is like this Russian thing is just too much for me. My heart is palpitating like
Yeah.
200 whatever beats per hour. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my time. If it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. And at the end of the day, it is what it is.
That's also the mentality I've had, like it is what it is. I think the older you get, the more they're like, you know what? This isn't worth it. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think you learn to really know where to put your energy because your energy is precious and not everything and not everyone deserves that energy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's almost like now you're starting to learn a better, higher self of your version of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Should you really care about that? No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through your journey of how you come up with pieces? Like, is it something that's like spontaneous? Is it sporadic? Is it intentional?
Yeah.
Unintentional? Yeah.
I think when it comes to like coming up with my pieces or like any art that I do, most of the time it is spontaneous.
Really?
Or sometimes it is like I see something and it inspires me and I'm like, hey, wait a second, like I don't know, like I might be sitting at the beach thinking about something and then I think about an image and I'm like, actually, I think I want to create that and put that into art. But I think recently I've been wanting to do like imagery that resembles parts of like my childhood that brought me joy or
Mm-hmm.
like games, whether it was food, whether it was moments like outside in the backyard with family, things in my neighborhood and community that I grew up
Yeah.
in that like just resemble that. But I think also like something that I do is I kind of like journal or I think about like certain words and sometimes connect that to like an image, like what can come out of this.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I think it is like a spontaneous idea that pops up, and I'm like, I have to create this. I have to write this
Yeah.
down. But sometimes when I write it down, like it takes me some time to create it to really like,
Oh, so
yeah.
it's not like a just immediately
Yeah,
go
no.
execute.
It doesn't happen like immediately like, when I have the thought, but I write it down so I make sure that I don't forget it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna revisit this and we're gonna create this.
So is there a process of like gathering some type of feeling or emotion before you create it, or is just like I'm just gonna go do it?
So definitely connecting the emotions. The process looks like just writing down what I feel, what images I want to connect to those feelings. Sometimes it's me listening to music or just taking some time to like reflect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's some advice you'll give another younger artist that feels like this is definitely what I want to do? I have the desire, I have the passion. I just need to make sure that it will work. And if it's not working now, what do I do in the interim that I don't give up on what I love?
I think I would definitely recommend to take a chance on yourself, to keep going and keep pushing. I think, there will be moments where you doubt yourself or like, is this good enough? Are people going to like this? I don't know if this art is like enough for people to like,
Yeah,
catch their attention. But I think what I tell myself is like, you know what? It's okay if folks don't like it. My art is not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
right.
And that's okay. Your art is true to you and what you want to create. And not everybody's going to connect to it. And that's completely okay. There will be folks out there who do connect to it, that see something in it. But I think like don't get discouraged, or don't compare yourself to other artists. That is so important. Everybody has a different art style.
Yeah.
And I think you got to find your art style, what works for you, what you feel connected to. So yeah, don't give up on yourself. Keep going and whatever works out will work out. And I think like it's just a matter of believing yourself that you can get there.
Absolutely. And run a 26.66611 marathon. Before we wrap up and go, what are some common things that you find amongst different artists? And then what are some, like, far as positive things? And then what are some of the negative things, or at least like the struggles that you find that's pretty common amongst artists?
I think in terms of positive things, I think a sense of community is something that I notice through the art that you put out. You create a connection, and through that connection, both can heal.
Yeah.
Just seeing artists tell their stories, share their identity, who they are, the way they express themselves is like really beautiful. And that's something that I love to see, no matter in what form or what medium you create. Like,
Yeah.
if it's pottery, art, watercolor, acrylics, like,
Yeah.
it's beautiful in
Yeah.
all forms.
I think it's absolutely phenomenal how people can kind of take something what's internal and then externally express it. Like that's a skill in itself, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful when people can come up with different forms of art and it can still communicate to others about what they were feeling. Because when I look at things, I'm like, wow. I would have never thought of it, you know?
Yeah.
And just to have someone else share that, I feel like it's an honor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's just it brings a sense of connection, but
Yeah.
I don't want to just stop at like what you can create in sorts of like mediums of like if it's like painting or if it's pottery. I think art comes in different forms. It could be a
It
podcast.
could be my
It could
makeup.
be your makeup, eyelashes. It could be how you do your hair, how you do nails, how you create a garden. I think art shows up in very different ways.
Yeah, and speaking of a garden, I actually made a beautiful landscape for my garden,
That's
and it was
awesome.
very artistic, and everyone goes like, "I love this," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
I have
It's
the
all
goal.
me.
I have the goal to one day create a beautiful garden.
You can do it. I believe you can do it. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your story. I absolutely love that you can bring more joy than anything else outside of your artwork because I think that's equally as important for anything else. I know a lot of sadness come through art, but just to be reminded that joy exists too,
Yeah.
even in the midst of the sadness, I think is beautiful. So if you can continue doing what you're doing and share all of your loving stories and healing process, that would be amazing. And I love what you're doing with the community just to kind of activate their voice because it is important. So if
Yeah.
you want to tell everyone where they can find you, if it's any galleries you're in now or Instagram or things like that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. This was a lovely experience, and it's been really awesome to share my story and how I've just journeyed with my art this whole time. Where you can find me is at Art by Chels on Instagram. It is my only art page, but I tend to try to post on my story and on my feed. So anything that I am creating, you can find it there.
So thank you for being here. And before you leave, we actually printed one of your pieces onto a t-shirt and it's right over there.
Oh, wow.
If you can tell everyone what this piece is called.
Oh, this is so beautiful. This piece is called La Troquita Verde. So green truck, the green truck. So this is actually the truck that I painted. And this is the truck that brought so many memories to my childhood. So
Yeah,
really grateful
absolutely.
for this shirt. Thank you so much. I added some bugambilias. I think around my neighborhood and in my house, I've always just seen this flower all the
Really?
time. It's one of my favorite flowers. It's a vining flower. And it's actually a medicinal flower too.
Hmm.
Whenever you have a cough, you make a tea out of this flower with some honey and it helps.
Wow.
So that's something that my grandpa actually taught me when I had a really bad cough. But yeah, this truck is like very meaningful to me.
Yeah, and it looks wonderful on a t-shirt.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
I really enjoyed being able to share a part of myself, my story, and my art journey. Thank you so much for providing that space to share that. Please like and subscribe to Ink and Identity.